Hi everyone, happy holidays. All right, so I'm shooting at a different angle here in my home office today, and I'm just going to take it easy. I didn't have anything planned with my vlog for today, but I saw that it was a very nice and beautiful day outside, so I decided to hang out with you guys. And I'm not really 100% at the moment. Maybe I'm around like 85-90% because over the weekend I had a very bad reaction to some dust particles here in the house because, as you have seen in the intro, my Christmas tree was up. So that was in a very dusty location here in the house, and when I started putting the lights in the tree, I started to feel some irritation in my in my throat and in my nose. And by the way, it's not COVID because I actually tested myself twice, and the reason being is because one, I just want to be tested, and if I want to know if I have it. And also the other thing, my mom came over last weekend because she had a Christmas party to attend to, and I have to say, for a woman of 66, her social calendar is busier than mine. So what we will be doing today is I'm just going to keep my brushes, which I used with my mom, and put them back into their proper locations. And also one other thing, I have this Fenty Beauty, what do you call this, body sauce, and this is in the color Honey Honey, and I have to transfer this into an airless pump because the packaging of this actually ruptured in in the bag where I usually keep my foundation. So I think it got swished, and as you guys can see here at the tip, the product is oozing out, and there's still a minimal amount of product left, and I want to save it. And it's actually very, very good. The way it just adds very nice shimmer to the body. I have a substantial amount of the product here at the palm of my hand, and as you guys can see how pigmented it is. Then when you rub it, may it be on the legs or in the neck or in the décolletage area, it adds a very nice soft focus kind of a finish into the body, and I really like it. And it's such a waste of product if I throw it away, if you know what I mean. And it smells so good. It smells so good. It has a scent of, it's a little bit floral. It also, I think, has a little bit of some coconut and vanilla in it, so it has a very girly scent. And of course, we will be unboxing some new makeup stuff that have just arrived. And I was intending of doing like a sit down video for them, but I don't think I can do that anytime this week. So I think this should suffice, and this could put me back into the right mood and rhythm of things, because I've just been keeping it very, very slow this past few days. So one other thing, by the way, before I start fixing all of my brushes and putting them back to their proper location, I actually found this Mystic Mix mini fix trio from MAC, and this was for the holiday 2021 collection. So it's a very old collection because I have not used a MAC Prep and Prime fix in a really long time. I wanted to try them again, and when I saw that they have a coconut version now and a rose version, and of course the original version, I wanted to test them out first in their smaller sizes, because I just wanted to see what's the difference between all three. Although at the top of my head, when I see that there's coconut in this formulation, this is good for people who have dry skin because coconut adds hydration. And if there's rose in the formulation, this is good for people who have oily skin because, again, rose has some toning capabilities. And of course, this is the normal formulation, so this is good for people who have normal or combination skin. Before I purchased it, I actually checked the back here, and I saw that it's good to use for 24 months. So this was made in June 2021. No, July 2021. So it already turned a year. I'm sure this will only last me maybe a month max when I'm working. And the reason why I like this size is because they will fit perfectly into my makeup kit. So let me just show you guys. Alright, so this is my makeup kit, and as you guys can see, I have drawers here, and I usually put some of my skincare things here, and there's still enough space. And if I like, you know, just place them here, they would actually fit quite perfectly, and they will not bother, like, you know, the way the drawer would actually close into the makeup kit. So that's the main attraction that I had for that trio. And also one other thing, I also saw some lipsticks from MAC. There was some release during the 2021 season. I don't know if it's holiday or nothing because I don't really follow MAC a lot. It's not one of those brands that I have, like, you know, I keep tabs on. But anyway, so I just recently found out that they actually had a Keith Haring collection that they released, and I have two of the lipsticks here. So there was one red lipstick, one yellow, and one blue. And so as you guys can see here, the packaging is very, very pretty. It's very Keith Haring, and I love Keith Haring. The first time I saw his painting or his artwork was when I went to New York in 2012. I was studying makeup at Makeup Designery at that time, and then I went to the MoMA, and I didn't know who Keith Haring was, and so when I was walking into one of the rooms, I just saw this very big, like, you know, artwork panel on the wall, and when I started to turn, a phallic symbol came out. So I think I took a picture of that. I'm going to flash it here on screen so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. So yeah, one lipstick here is actually in the color blue. Very nice. And then the other lipstick here with the white packaging is in yellow. Now, I don't know what the packaging is for the red lipstick. If I can find a picture, I'm going to flash it here on screen. And I'm kind of a little bit sad that I found this, like, you know, collection from Keith Haring and MAC very late, because I really want to have it because we have three primary colors in the collection. We have a yellow, and then we have a blue, and then you have a red. And, like, you know, having those three colors, you can actually mix those to create your very own, like, you know, lipstick color that you want to wear. And maybe I should try and see if I can still find the red lipstick for this. So I'm not going to use this for work anymore. I'm just going to primarily, like, you know, keep this as, like, you know, a nice private collection with me. And I do remember there was a time, I think Maybelline released a lot of lipsticks that, you know, they were like primary colors, and they would use them for adjusters. Where was that? Let me try to see if I can find it. Yeah, so this is my very old lipstick bag. I don't use it anymore, but Maybelline before had, like, you know, lipstick adjusters. There was like a black adjuster, a white, and then we have a blue adjuster. So I really love having, like, you know, primary colors for lipsticks or foundation colors, because they can really help you to create your very own custom color that you need in a specific time frame. So that's that. Alright, let me just put this back into its proper place. Okay, and I think what I'm going to be doing first is I'm going to put all of my makeup stuff into their proper location so that I can put this into the airless pump. So hang around with me, okay? Okay, so the brushes are now all kept, and I'm going to transfer this now into the airless pump. But before I do that, let me just return this to its proper place. Okay, so this is actually a lip balm, which I have been loving ever since I got it when I went to Morocco back in June. Was it June? Yes, in June, and I really love it. It has this very nice scent, and this has really kept my lips very moisturized, especially when I went to Japan. So this has like, you know, shea butter, argan oil in it, and it has a hint of some rose in it. So it's actually very, very nice. And I bought it off of like a very small store it's like a co-op. So they actually sell a lot of products like, you know, that have rose oil in it, made from Damascus roses, and it's one of the best products that I've ever tried. Even their like, you know, their moisturizer is also very good. And again, it's a very small co-op off of the road in Klaat and Guna in Morocco. And if you're interested, I'm gonna put a link down below to my Morocco haul so that you can see what I am talking about. Okay. All right. So at this point, let's transfer this. So let me just put a protective layer here. And let me get one of the airless pumps. So I have actually already cleaned this out. I have dried this out. I have sprayed some 99% alcohol in it so that it's just clean and ready for its new tenant. But before doing this, I was actually initially thinking of like, you know, snipping the top here, but I'm just not so sure how much is actually left here, because although it's 95 mils, this can only hold 50. And basing on how much cleaning I did in my like, you know, foundation kit, because my foundation kit, where's that? I think I already kept it. I think it's now back here in my bag. I can't find it, but anyway, so basing on how much I cleaned that foundation kit of mine, it took me some time. So I hope I have a substantial amount of product left here, because it's a very expensive product. It's like around 3,000 something in Philippine peso. So that's more expensive than, like, you know, let's say a foundation for the face. So this needs to be saved. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pump whatever I can pump into this bottle. Okay, let me try to see if I could remove the cap of this. Ooh, that's a bad idea. So a lot of the product just came out of the hole here, so let's continue. Okay, so I feel there isn't really a lot of the product left, so I would have to snip the top portion of this, and I'm just basing it off of the fact that it's a little bit difficult to actually, like, you know, pump out the product. Okay, there you go. So much better and so much faster than just pumping it slowly out from the top here. Okay, so it's actually a very full bottle. I wasn't expecting that, but this was fairly new, by the way, so that's why I really wanted to save it. And as you guys can see, the color here is actually amazing, especially if you're working with people who have, like, you know, deeper skin tones, or who has a tan, like medium skin tone. So that would be very, very good. And while we're at it, I got my label maker, and let's create a new label for this. Alright, so I just moved you to a different angle here in my home office because it just looks prettier. And what we're going to do is we're going to unbox these two new makeup purchases that I got. And the first box that I'm going to unbox with you guys today is this box from Hourglass. And if you can hear any pounding, I do apologize. That's actually my neighbor. They're having something fixed with their roof, so I hope it's not going to be too noisy for us today. But anyway, let's just roll with the punches. Alright, so look at that. I love how Hourglass, like, you know, wraps their packaging in this type of, like, you know, paper cushion. Now, I didn't actually buy a lot of stuff, but I just bought some things that I was very curious about. Now, the reason why it took me so long to purchase their new Ambient palette is because the exchange rate between the Philippine peso and the dollar is a little bit too high. But I just remember that I actually have a 30% discount from them because I'm a professional makeup artist and I actually applied for that discount. So that's when I decided to actually get this new Ambient palette, and also some of their fiber eyebrow gel, because I have been in the market, like, you're looking for this type of a product. But one other thing, I have this intensive hydrating eye balm as a freebie, so thank you for that. And let me just open this Ambient palette. So I actually did get the butterfly packaging, as you guys can see here, very pretty, very nice. It still has this very nice tin kind of a packaging. I love how slim it is, very pretty. And I actually prefer to purchase things like a few months after they have been released, because I actually want to see if it's well received by the community or if it will actually work for me. Now, the color palette that I actually chose for the Butterfly Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked is the color palette number 3, and this is the one that has all of the much more lighter tones here on the color story. And the main reason for that is because I am more interested in getting to know some of the much more lighter shades from Hourglass, because I do have a lot of deeper shades of finishing powders with me, and also some deeper shades of blushes. And looking at this now, I'm actually quite glad that I got this color story, but it kind of fills in the gap in between a lot of my collections right now. And also one other thing, there are 3 different types of color stories that's available for you to choose from. And the main reasons why I didn't get color story number 1 and color story number 2 is because I already have one color from that existing color palette in other palettes from Hourglass here in my collection, and I didn't want to have any doubles at the moment. And let me just get my other Hourglass palettes. So let me just put these aside. So this is my new Butterfly palette. So let me just open this and put this to the side. Then I have here the Universe Unlocked palette, and let me put that here. And this is my volume 3, so I'm just going to put that here. And this is one of the oldest Hourglass products that I have, and this is the Ambient Lighting Edit Mini Sculpture Unlocked, and I'm just going to put it here, and I'm going to use this for reference. Okay, so as you guys can see here, when I'm just putting all of these together, it can actually give me a very nice different shades and color range between a strobing powder, a finishing powder, and some blush colors. And truthfully though, I do have to say I was a little bit tentative of actually getting another palette like this, because truthfully some of the blush colors in the Hourglass palettes, they're almost the same. And let me just put the other one up here. So if you can see the colors between the blushes here, they don't really they're very close to each other. They're not very diverse, but except for this color here, this is a very nice coral color. I do have to say it gives a face a very nice flush of color. I do love that. But anyway, in just putting this up now, we can see that having lighter shades here of the strobing powders and the finishing powders will work very well in pairing it with this Universe Unlocked palette from Hourglass that they just released. And again, Hourglass, I am not so familiar with them. I do not have a lot of their products in my collection, and I've always said before that if you are interested in getting to know a brand, check out their holiday collections, check out their mini palettes, because at least you can see the type of colors that they come out with, and I'm sure they will be available individually. So that's it. Now this Lighting Edit Mini, I think, is no longer being sold. I think this was still sold last year around the same time that the Universe Unlocked palette and the accompanying palette of this was also released. I think this was released as a limited edition on their website, and I think the color story that we see here can be seen in the color story number 1 for their new Lighting Edit Unlocked palettes this year. So it's very, very nice. I do love, again, the very nice butterfly motif here. Very pretty, but the packaging is a little bit different, wherein we see this type of, I don't know what you call this, creasing on the packaging, because on the Lighting Edit Universe Unlocked palette, it's actually flatter. But again, I do love that it's still quite flat. It's not very bulky, and I can actually stack them properly in my makeup kit, so I love them for that. Oh, and stupid me, before we move on, I need to swatch all the colors here that we see. Let me put this here so that we don't have any reflection from the light. Okay, that's perfect. So let's see how all these colors will look like on my skin. So I'm gonna swatch all of these first together. And I'm just gonna put it here, here, and here. All right, so this is called Ethereal Light, and this is a finishing powder. And then the next one here is called Incandescent Light, which is a strobe powder. And this is the new blush, and this is called Soft Flush Blush. So look at the color. The finishing powder is actually very cool tone. It's actually very white. It's really standing out here on my skin. Now the strobe powder here is called Incandescent Light. Now it's a little bit warmer than the finishing powder that we have here. So again, it's very interesting on how well these colors actually just pop from my skin. All right, I'm gonna move on to the next three here. 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna swatch them here, here, and here. All right, so as you guys can see, this is a finishing powder and it's called Diffused Light. So it's a little bit warmer than the Ethereal Light that I swatched earlier, but it's still cooler than I anticipated. And the next blush that we have here is called Sunset Glow. It's also a new blush. So, but just by looking at it here on my skin, they look very close together. They look like they both belong to the same color family, but one is lighter than the other. And I also think one has more pearliness in it than the other. But then again, if we look at it here on the palette, we can see that the color here called Soft Flush has some kind of an iridescence to it. But I'm sure there's also going to be some softness in this other blush called Sunset Glow. So, these two blushes would be perfect for someone who has just had a tan and would just like to enhance that tan. All right, the next one that we have here is a new color and it's called Celestial Strobe Light. So it's a strobing powder. So it's a highlighting powder of sorts. It's a very warm color, very nice, very strong. So as I've said earlier, this is a very cool toned palette, except for this one. I think this will work for my skin tone as a nice highlighter. Anywho, so this is how the third color story from the new Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked Butterfly palette from Hourglass would look like on my skin. And the other things that I got are these brow gels. So they're actually called Arch Brow Volumizing Fiber Gel. So I got it in 3 different colors. So let me just open this before I show it to you guys. Ooh. Okay, so since the packaging here is actually it's covered, it's not in a plastic packaging, you can't see the colors, so I'm going to line them up properly. So now I have been I have been using fiber brow gels for the longest time, and the first product that I've ever used was with Maybelline, but they have stopped making that product for years now, and I have been looking for some replacements. And the things that I see being discussed on YouTube or social media, they're quite expensive, especially the Tom Ford fiber brow gel. So I decided not to get that. So anywho, the first color that I have here is the color in dark brunette, and ooh, the brush head is actually very interesting. Look at that! Wow. And let me just swatch the color here so that you guys can see it. Ah, that's a very nice color. This will work with people who have, hairs color like mine. Okay, so this is the first time that I'm trying this. And I have to say, I do like the consistency of it. And I do love that there's a different length of a brush head here that can really help you get in between your eyebrows and spreading the product. Now, by the way, guys, I'm just winging it right now because I don't have a mirror, so I do apologize for that. Now, if you're someone who, like, it's very lazy with your brow game, no, not lazy, but you don't have time, and of course, like, the ability to, like, add some volume with, like, using a brow pencil, things like that, I think having fiber brow gels at your disposal is actually a good idea. Oh, look at that. I love it. It doesn't have a scent at all, so at least you are, like, if you're allergic to scents, that's something that's good for you. All right, so the next color that we have here is Soft Brunette. And let me just swatch it here at the back of my hand. Okay, it's actually much more lighter. It has a cooler tone to it in comparison to Dark Brunette. Very nice neutral color, very pretty. This will work with people who have lighter eyebrow colors, or if you just want to lighten your brows a bit, like, if you want the ombre look, you start with a much more lighter shade here in the inner corner of your brows, and then go darker. Very nice, sorry. Very nice, very pretty. And the last color that we have here is Warm Brunette, and let me just swatch it here. Okay, so as the name implies, it's warmer. It has more red in it. So if you're someone who has, like, red tones in your hair, this will be very nice to use. So this is how the three Arch Brow Volumizing Fiber Gel from Hourglass looks like. Very interesting. But so far, I'm quite happy on the consistency of the color of the gel, because, like, I'm very picky with these types of products, because I have tried some products out there, like, I've been looking, and I'm also been, like, testing some of them, and there's just some products out there that when you apply the product, there's just too much color and it's very difficult to blend out. And, like, with someone like me who has I have, like, very bushy eyebrows, and if I go to town with it, it becomes very bushy. But the thing with me is I need a product to actually, like, balance out my eyebrows, because after all, I have a scar here from my childhood, so one of my brows is higher than the other, things like that. So I'm actually just quite happy on how it looks on my brows right now, like, just, initially getting to know the product. I love how nice it is, how very light it is, and I like how easy it is to handle, and it also feels comfortable. So it's a nice plus for me. All right, and they also gave me a freebie. So this is a hydrating eye gel. Am I right? Okay, so the name is Equilibrium. So this is an intensive hydrating eye balm. Okay, so if you have very dry under eyes, I think this is a good product to use. So let me just open this a bit. No scent at all, but it has a very, like, peachy tone to it. But I'm not gonna use it right now. I'm gonna test out because I already have an under eye cream at the moment. So I don't, like, I don't want to risk mixing ingredients, especially when this is the first time that I am seeing this. But let me just check the ingredients list here, but I don't see anything. Alright, so I don't see any ingredient list here, so I'm going to go check up their website later after I finish with this vlog. Okay, so these are the things that I got from Hourglass. Alright, so the next packaging that I have here is actually from Lisa Eldridge, and I actually wanted to create a standalone video for this, but because I can see that this was opened by the customs officer, I just need to open this right now and to check if everything is, like, as I ordered and there was no damage whatsoever. We all know by now that Lisa released a series of eyeshadow palettes, and when she released this, I was actually traveling. Like, I think I was traveling to my hometown in Cebu City, then I eventually went to Japan. So if you're interested to see some of my Japan haul, I'm going to put a link down on the description box for that, so you can go and check it out. I was actually a little bit bummed that I missed out on the initial release, because when I was actually able to purchase some of her stuff, her Pompadour pouch was already out of stock. I love Lisa Eldridge products, and when I was, like, adding things to my cart on her website, I actually had to remove some because again, the the pound is a very strong currency, and again, the exchange rate wasn't working to my favor, so I had to remove some foundations because I was actually thinking of adding more foundations from her into my collection, and I said to myself, maybe I should do it next time as needed. But for now, I was more interested in actually, oh my gosh, I can't open it, getting her new eyeshadow palettes. Aw. And with that, the box is actually destroyed. Alright, so I actually ordered 2 eyeshadow palettes and 2 of her Liquid Lyrics eyeshadows. And of course, we have the velvet blue pouch. Still very pretty. I already have one, so it's nice to have doubles. Just by looking at it here now on my table, I can say that I have everything that I ordered. Alright, so let me first open the Liquid Lyrics eyeshadows. I have been actually eyeing them for quite some time. This is not her newest release, but this was her previous release. So I have here the color Iris. It's a very nice, very stunning, cool tone purple. Very beautiful eyeshadow color. And the other one that I have is Maya, and this is supposed to be a pinky color. So, but I think this is very pink, but it depends on how it's gonna look like when I swatch it. But I can see that it has some gold glitters in it. I'm so excited to try them out. I won't swatch them today because again, I would prefer to do that in a standalone video. Alright, so let's open this eyeshadow palette. Now, when I was initially thinking of getting some of Lisa's palettes, I was thinking of actually getting them individually, but because I got them so late already, I said there were some colors that were not available, so I said I think I should get them in its packaging because it's actually cheaper to get them in a set like this than to purchase them individually. But I do have to say, my first impression of this, it's actually a very pretty eyeshadow palette in terms of its packaging. Very nice and very smooth, very light. I am so amazed by that. But let me talk about the packaging sometime soon. But let's open up this first eyeshadow palette. Alright, and we have here the color Muse. Look at that. What a pretty eyeshadow palette. It's very sweet looking, very wearable, I have to say, and I am already liking the textures that I see here. So this is the color Muse. Very nice. And I'm very attracted to pinky tones of eyeshadows because they will actually work very well with my skin tone because I have olive tones on my skin. Alright, very pretty. And next, let's open this. We have here, so let me open this slowly, and we have the color story in Myth. Look at that. What a beautiful color story. Look, guys, very interesting, very pretty, and I have been very attractive to very nice violet and purple tones, and just by looking at this right now, you can be very playful with it. And you have some very nice neutral colors as well. Very interesting. Oh, I can't wait to play around with this. So at least, in you seeing this, you guys can sure see right now that the eyeshadow colors that I got, in the Liquid Lyrics form, or even in her 2 eyeshadow palettes, they're all within the pink and violet and purple range. So that's the kind of color palette that I have been thinking about getting for the holiday season, and I think they're actually quite wearable, and I think I can intermix colors between these 2 palettes or even with these 2 liquid eyeshadows. So I'm very, very excited actually, and I'm so glad that I did this with you today because it just kind of puts me in the right mood. But I'm just going to stall a little bit in creating my standalone videos for these Lisa Eldridge eyeshadows because I just need to sound better, because I'm sure if you've been following me on Instagram and YouTube for quite some time, you would have noticed that my voice is a little bit off, and it's actually, I'm actually sweating a little bit right now from the effort that I need to put out when I'm speaking. So yeah, so that's it. So those are the things that I got recently, and that's also what I did this morning. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm gonna let you guys go because it's almost lunchtime and I need to make lunch for my partner and I also need to clean up some stuff here in my home office because it's still a little bit messy coming out from, like, having my mom here over the weekend and doing her hair and makeup. Anywho, that's it from me today. I hope that you guys enjoyed me showing you my latest makeup purchases, like these eyeshadow palettes from Lisa Eldridge, this Hourglass palette, and also, like, these Keith Haring lipsticks from MAC. And one other thing, I don't think I'm going to be making a standalone video for the Hourglass Lighting Edit Unlocked Butterfly Palette with a color story number 3 here because the color story on this is actually very light. It's too light for my skin tone. So I also knew that as soon as I purchased this, this would be for my clients or for the actresses that I work with who have lighter skin tones. But maybe in a future video, I could incorporate some of this into a look. So please hang around for that, okay? And I also hope that you don't mind me showing you how I save makeup products, because after all, this is very expensive, and if you have an expensive makeup product there, sometimes transferring them to a different packaging can be helpful and useful. And also, like, you have to save it because it's quite expensive. Money doesn't grow on trees. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys go now because somebody's at the doorbell and my dogs are gonna start barking. So I'll see you guys soon. Okay, have a good day wherever you are. Bye.